Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fragrant Bunker. Today we're going to do the top 5 Hermes perfumes. Well, according to me, at least for now, in this time in my life, what would be my favorites? Um, I prompted my AI bubbles to generate an orange type of living room slash boutique area. Orange because obviously we are homaging the one and only House of Hermes for the occasion, but obviously I'm not sponsored by Hermes, nor am I in any way, shape, or form affiliated with them. I'm just a fan of a few of their perfumes and, necklaces, jewelry. So, frisbees. But anyway, these are the 5 that I think represent Hermes throughout the times in the best way, also the way that they smell, the way that they inspire me. Hermes has a very particular way of creating fragrances that are always encapsulated. The sensation they give me is of being encapsulated in their own realm, in their own reality. The beauty about whether or not I decide to buy an Hermes perfume, ultimately to take it home with me after I've tested it, I don't buy all of them, but independently from whether or not I choose to buy them or not, each and every one of them give me a sensation of creating their own cocoon environment. Smelling an Hermes perfume is like entering inside a fully constructed, highly conceptualized living space, an emotional living space inside of yourself. That's how Hermes perfumes function, in my humble opinion. And these spaces are very well curated. They are subtle, very well balanced, blended. No ingredient screeches on top of any other. There are no wars, there are no battles. All the ingredients harmonize and they're delicate. Um, they make you feel safe. That safety gives you a sense of balance, and that gives you a sense of wealth. So when I say that an Hermes perfume smells rich, I don't mean that it smells rich as in opulent, driving a limousine, driving a private jet, flying a private jet, just showing off wealth and money. No. When I say rich, I mean safe. And by safe, I don't mean, oh, you're just playing it safe, so there's no character. No, there's a lot of character there, but it just makes you feel like you're cocooned, protected. Safe as in, when I smell an Hermes perfume on me, I feel like I'm in my own cocoon, like it helps me balance out my own anxieties even sometimes. So we're going to get to the perfumes and we're going to see how this works. But subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Push the join button next to the subscription button. Become a member today. Get access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon, superdacob, all spelled together there as well for extra perks. And push the notification bell as well. Everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's a legend, just my opinion. The perfumes I will showcase, if I do lift them up, I have bought them myself. Let's get to it. Here's the first one from my list. And Eau de Gentian Blanche, I had to take one from the Cologne series. And boy, oh boy, do I love this one. I mean, I have had this perfume in my collection for decades. Decades. This was the first cologne from Hermes that I purchased. It's a rare one, not because it's hard to find. You can still get it at Hermes boutiques, From time to time, they say they're going to discontinue it, and then it's harder to find. But then it pops up again. And thank goodness that it's still around, even though it's a little bit rarer. It's not rarer because they want to play the Birkin game with Eau de Gentian Blanche. It's just rarer because it has a bitter note. The gentian note is very bitter inside of this perfume. So a lot of people don't understand this perfume in the beginning, from the get-go, because when you spray it on, it does smell like a medicinal, herbal, bitter, hyper bitter accord. Now, for those of you who are not so versed with gentian, with the gentian flower, it grows really high up in the mountains. In the Alps, you can find it quite a bit. It's a beautiful flower, one of the rarest flowers out there because it has a color that comes as close as possible to blue. Usually blue doesn't exist in nature like in flowers and plants, but the gentian flower is like a purpley blue color. It's a gorgeous color. It's like you could say in the Alps, they say it's the only blue flower. The root of the gentian is used for medicinal purposes. You can make tea out of the root of the gentian flower. Uh, it calms the stomach. It helps heal the stomach from stress and from poisoning. Usually bitter flavors are good for the liver as well. You know, this is also why they say parsley is like a lubricant for the liver. They say it's really healthy for the liver. I'm not a doctor, so I cannot give you medical tips. Of course, I'm just repeating like a monkey what I've heard my doctor say to me. And the gentian root is also used to create a very famous Italian grappa, very, very bitter, very delicious, but you got to get used to that flavor. It's almost like tasting coffee the first time. It tastes super bitter. It's an acquired taste. Coffee is bitter. Now, if you think coffee is bitter, gentian is 100 times more bitter. But once you understand the flavor of the gentian root, it's addictive, really. But it is an endangered plant, and it is forbidden to just pluck it if you find it in the mountains and take the roots. It's very, very rare. Now, the gentian flower here is very bitter, but Eau de Gentian Blanche also has Bulgarian rose in it, which is a very I want to say it's like kind of an all-encompassing rose that doesn't fall into the sweet category. It's more floral airy, which goes very well with the gentian note. Now, I'm reading from the Hermes website. They say creation. Eau de Gentian Blanche was created in 2009 by perfumer Jean-Claude Elena, an interpretation that revisits the theme of freshness with spirit as well as delicacy. They have it currently available, as I'm reading this, on their website in a 100 milliliter bottle only. Olfactory notes. A musky citrus fragrance, Eau de Gentian Blanche Cologne, is based on bitter gentian, very bitter, powdery iris, and elegant musks. The object. The iconic lantern bottle, the Kalesh lantern. We're going to talk about Kalesh as well. Spoiler alert. The iconic lantern bottle is adorned with a gray-green hue. On the orange box, a vividly contrasting band recalls the color of the bottle. The Hermes Colognes collection. The Hermes Colognes collection offers a playground that is as infinite as it is masterly for exploring the sensory nature of materials. It brings immediate and abundant pleasure that unifies beyond genres, fashions, ages, or seasons. I completely agree. This one, I can wear this all year round. But it is particularly good in summer because that bitter note contrasts the sweat and the heat. So you're sweaty and you're all, sticky from your own sweat. But then when you wear this perfume, it smells dry. It gives you that illusion of being almost like having your built-in air conditioning somehow. Again, that safety net that Hermes delivers, making you feel more comfortable with yourself despite the really hot weather. Very fascinating. The olfactory emotion, they say, is spicy, dry. Main raw materials are gentian, iris, and musk. Made in France, of course. So that's what they had to say about Eau de Gentian Blanche. Love it to bits. Love it to bits. Each one of the colognes has a different bottle color, different kind of game and play on mostly green. Some of them are kind of orange, yellow, and red, but this one has a dark, bitter green color. And if I find a link to this one, a shopping link, I will post it down below or wherever on my video. You know how YouTube does YouTube shopping. You will not pay more for it, but a percentage of the purchase is like an affiliate link, so it might help out my channel. So thank you guys so much. So check out the links if I do find them, because this one might not have such a shopping link since most of the time it's only available directly at Hermes. It's kind of hard to find this one, like in Sephora or whatever, you know what I mean? So let me show you the next one. My number 2, that spoiler alert, it's Calèche. Now there is a current Calèche version in Eau de Parfum, which is not Calèche Eau de Parfum anymore. It's called Calèche de soie or soy, which is like silk Calèche, which is a reinterpretation of it. But we're dealing here with the Eau de Toilette, okay? And as of now, Hermes has it on their website in 2 sizes for the Eau de Toilette concentration. In particular, Calèche also exists, and from time to time they sell it in an extrait form. Not always easy to find. I also have a feeling sometimes they discontinue it and then they bring it back. But I want to focus on Calèche Eau de Toilette from the 60s. Now, currently available still as 50 ml and 100 ml on the Hermes website. This is a classic Hermes. Of course, it had to be on my list. By the way, thumb up this video if you're enjoying it. Subscribe to my channel. It really means the world to me. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. So Calèche is basically, this is the calèche, this little thing that the horse carries around, right? So you're kind of riding in it, whether you're nobility or the gentry. It doesn't really matter, but that's the idea of calèche. And the creation says composed by perfumer Guy Robert in 1961. Calèche was Hermès' first fragrance for women. Its name echoes the carriages that are emblematic of the house, a light and elegant 19th century horse-drawn conveyance. In fact, they also have it here. And on this current little sticker that comes on the bottle, this part here with the emblem and the logo of the House of Hermès is embossed in the sticker. Really, really elegant and beautiful. So the olfactory notes of Calèche. Here goes. A floral fragrance with aldehyde aromas. Calèche Eau de Toilette is a very feminine blend of delicate aldehydes, billowing jasmine, and light rose. Interesting, and this is also one of the reasons why I chose this, not just because it's the first Hermès perfume from the 60s, but because even though this was the 60s, and even though Chypres were at the forefront, most of these big houses, Hermès at that point was not known for cosmetics or perfumes or anything, right? But the big perfume houses or the big fashion houses that also had perfumes, were known at that point in time mostly for the beginning of the Chypre era, okay? Or actually, it was almost the heart of the Chypre era, I want to say, because it already began a little bit earlier. But the 60s and then into the 70s, we had Chypre. That was like so popular and famous. And I have a sneaky suspicion, despite all the odds and the times we're living in today, I have a sneaky suspicion that Chypre is going to have a comeback sooner or later, even though at the moment it's like a genre that's almost dying out in perfumery. The object, they say the bottle, inspired by the lanterns of horse-drawn carriages, has a black cap reminiscent of a riding hat. The back label is illustrated with a design by Philippe Dumas, indicating that it belongs to the Parfum Fondateurs collection. Well, I'm not going to show you the sticker because that changes. It's the back of the sticker. That's not the classic version of this. This perfume never had a print in the back of the sticker at the beginning. They didn't even have that technique back in the 60s to print the backs of stickers, just FYI. And they're probably going to change that again in the future, and let's try to make this video as timeless as possible. The Parfum Fondateur collection. The Parfum Fondateur collection draws inspiration from the house's heritage. Each creation encapsulates Hermès' imaginary world in a name, a fragrance, and a color. Over the years, Hermès has pioneered a bold style of perfumery, resulting from encounters with exceptional perfumers. The olfactory emotion, as Hermès calls it, is warm and sensual. And the main raw materials are aldehydes, jasmine, and rose. So we are talking about a delicate yet firm and substantial floral, warm accord for Hermes. This is kind of the one that started it all, right? After this is kind of the number 5 of Hermes. So every other subsequent perfume kind of bounces off of Kalesh to either build upon its story or veer slightly off the path of it, but finding its way back to it in one shape, form, or another, whether it be because it touches base on one of the main accords from Kalesh, or because it tries to define a new facet of said accords. Because just because we have a jasmine in here or a rose doesn't mean that we have to stick to just one type of rose. Roses can be many different types of roses, like we have the Bulgarian rose in Eau de Gentian Blanche, or we could have the May rose. We could have many different types of roses, as well as we can have many different types of jasmines. The jasmine in the OG version of Kalesh is a Jasminum grandiflorum, not a sandbach, just for example. But who knows what the future will bring and what sort of tweaking or reformulations we can get. On the good side, on the positive side, I have to say that every single reformulation of Hermes that I've smelled always smelled divine. You know, it's like they work hard to maintain and preserve their heritage. They don't kind of cheapen their fragrances. They try to abide, you know, they have to by law abide by the new regulations, upcoming regulations on allergens and all that stuff. And despite all of those odds, they manage to find a way to maintain the quality of their perfumes. 50 and 100 ml. If I find a link to this one, I will also post it in the shopping links. Kalesh. And I'll post the link if I find all the other concentrations as well. But the Eau de Toilette, for me, works a little bit better with my skin tone because the Silk Eau de Parfum hits a note that is almost like a vanillafied version of the floral accord, while in the Eau de Toilette, on me, it dries down powderier. And I like when a perfume goes slightly powdery on me because I usually have like oily skin. So everything that kind of contrasts that oiliness, example being orris root or iris accords, that deliver that powderiness, they make me feel drier, which might not work for a skin type that's very dry, but it works really well for an oily skin type like mine. So that's why the Eau de Toilette for me works very well, and the Eau de Toilette on my skin projects very well. But if you have very, very dry skin, this one might not project as well. So you might want to consider the EDP instead, which has that added soie, or however you want to pronounce it in French, the word silk in its name for the EDP. Thumb up the video. Number 3. Okay. I mean, what can I say? Love it. This is my favorite Hermès range. Now, in the past, and I'm talking pre-lockdown era, 2014, 2015, 2016, I remember talking to a sales associate at the Hermès boutique where I purchased Cuir d'Ange, and I said there's this quality that the Hermès fragrances, Jean-Claude Helena, perfumer of Cuir d'Ange, there's a quality of the Hermès range. The Hermès range is, see, it says here, Collection Hermès, which means it's almost like the Dior Privé collection, like the Chanel Les Exclusives collection, like the Louis Vuitton in-boutique exclusive collection of perfumes. Hermès also has their boutique exclusive range, which is called Hermès, right? They all have the same bottle, different leather stoppers for every different colors, inspired by the ingredients or the smell or the family that the perfumes are in. Cuir d'Ange means angel leather. A very, very particular name because Hermès is famous for its leather. We got here a Barenia leather for my Kelly necklace, which was designed by Jean-Paul Gaultier in the late 2009. I bought this from the Hermès boutique. He made this little Kelly choker back then in Barenia leather. So very important, right? But anyway, so the sales associate told me, yes, it's interesting that you sniff out that extra quality. And she said back in the day when I asked her, she said that the Hermès collection was made in-house by Hermès, but their mass release perfumes, which we've seen two of now, right? We've seen Eau de Gentiane Blanche and Calèche. Those are made under Clarins. So like Clarins produces them for Hermès. If that's still the case today, I do not know. It was the case apparently back then. Now, I repeat, everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged and just my opinion, just to be very clear. But this is what I've been told by Hermès back then. And so they said that they made the Hermès collection in-house. Extra attention to detail, to the raw materials, to the ingredients. And in fact, they do smell more elevated than their mass releases. You just sniff out richer ingredients. Now, I have here an example of a Cuir d'Ange because the Hermès range has this gorgeous thing, and I wish Chanel would do this as well. There's a lot of things Chanel could and should learn from Hermès, by the way. They do these sets of 15 milliliter EDTs, right? Because this is an eau de toilette. And you get to choose and combine like the 4 you want from the entire Hermès range. And then I think they do a 4 set, 8, I think even a 12 or a 16 set. So what I used to do back in the day, I would always buy these with friends. You know, we would go like 2 or 3 of us, and everybody would pick the one they want, and then we would buy them. They give them to you like in a box like this, but big enough to fit 4 of these. So somebody would keep the box. I didn't care for the box, you know. But and then each one of them comes in their own little pouch, right? So it's a great thing if you want to join forces, because they're not going to sell you just one. The minimum is 4. Okay. Y'all. Oh my God, every single time I smell Cuir d'Ange, I'm like, how could somebody envision such a perfume? This does smell like angel leather. I mean, it's a little bit gross to think you're skinning an angel, right? But I want to say the angel is alive. This is the smell that the angel emanates as it flies by you. This is how an angel smells. This is the idea that I have of an angel smelling. So here's what they say about it on the Hermès website. They say the Hermès Cuir d'Ange was inspired by a memorable literary experience. It was when reading Jean Jonot and his notion of Cuir d'Ange, angel leather, that perfumer Jean-Claude Ellena decided to work on a leathery note. And quoted to have said, I wanted to write a poem to rekindle the love duet, or I wanted to write a poem and rekindle the love duet between leather and skin. Its softness and lightness, its tension and its caress through leather and musk. And boy, oh boy, does this perfume deliver. You guys, it's on another level. I mean, that softness, it's like everything that usually smells heavy when we have a leather accord and a dusty, powdery accord, it all kind of tends to lay flat. This is magical because it's not heavy and flat. It's up in the sky. It flies above you. I mean, it's incredible. Really, really gorgeous perfume. Olfactory notes, it says, Cuir d'Ange is an ethereal and tender creation that combines the softness of a leather accord with an enveloping musk, an Hermès suitable for both men and women. In my book, perfumes know no gender anyway, but we'll go. The object, they say, the Cuir d'Ange bottle is showcased by a natural sand beige lacquer on the glass, echoed by the leather cap. And in fact, even in the little one, you get to see how it kind of, you see that slight beige tone that goes a little bit darker at the bottom? There, you see it at the bottom there, that ambery accord, and then it gets lighter and lighter and lighter as it goes to the top of the bottle. Gorgeous. The Hermes detail. They say the house's emblematic lantern bottle, again, we're repeating here, constitutes a unique and timeless signature. Its leather cap with saddle stitch. This is the saddle stitch, and in this case also, they're very proud of the saddle stitch that they do by hand. They also do it in contrasting color to not hide the stitch, but to actually emphasize the fact that they're so good at doing this stitch. This is also why you have the saddle stitch on this Barenia Kelly necklace here, also in contrast, so that it's very visible. Saddle stitch signature is topped with an engraved Hermes clou de sel, which is on top of the bottle. We have a miniaturized version of it here on the top of this stopper. Of course, this is not what you get at the top there. I think on the top there you get that whole drawing that we've seen on the sticker with the embossing of Kalesh. Olfactory emotion, spicy and dry. Main raw materials, leather, hawthorn. Now, I have difficulties with hawthorn, not in Cuir d'Ange. Truth be told, I'm getting more and more used to hawthorn. It's like similar to Eau de Gentian Blanche, where the gentian flower and the root, that bitterness it took me years to understand it, get used to it, and fall in love with it. And now I adore it. Hawthorn, same. It's not bitter, but hawthorn has this vibe about it that is, it's kind of like a green, meaty plant. When you bite into it, it's bitter and medicinal at the same time, but also juicy. But you think it's gone slightly stale. Very complicated. Hawthorn is super complicated for me. And it took me years to fall in love with hawthorn. In fact, one of the reasons why I had difficulties with Chanel's beige for many years was the hawthorn. But what did it for me with hawthorn, believe it or not, was a very hawthorn heavy perfume in the most synthetic way possible, but it made it click for me and it made me understand hawthorn finally. And that was Comme des Garçons' homonymous perfume called Comme des Garçons, which is lovingly sub-genred and called tape, Comme des Garçons tape. It smells of office supplies, tape, cardboard. A very niche, very conceptual perfume. Main accord in it is hawthorn in its pure form. Very intense. And hawthorn almost takes oxygen away from you. Interesting, the use of hawthorn in this one, because obviously if we think about an angel flying in the sky, you're thinking about it being so high up there where the oxygen is very thin, there's very little oxygen. So if a human being would, when you're flying in an airplane, if you were to exit the plane while it's up there, first of all, you would freeze. But second of all, there's very little oxygen up there, right? So when I smell hawthorn in its like raw form, right? The accord of hawthorn, it makes me suffocate. It kind of like deprives me of oxygen. And I've come accustomed to appreciate that accord. And it's a masterful way of using hawthorn in here to create that illusion, wow, of you being, see, it almost like, it's astringent in a way. It makes you feel like you're up there in the sky with this angel. I mean, it's amazing. It's a masterpiece of a perfume. Love it to bits. Oh, gosh, I love it so much. Okay, we digress. Thumb up the video. If I find a link to this one, shopping link to this one, I'll post it as well in the shopping list. Thumb up the video, you guys. Let's move on to number 4. I mean, you know, we had to do 24 Faubourg, which is their flagship store. It's Hermès' flagship store where people can also maybe sometimes get lucky and you do the little lottery thing where you apply for an appointment. And if they grant you a wish appointment there on the day of, in the leather section, you might just get lucky and they might just let you buy one of the quota bags without having any purchase history, without having to wait for a year for them to make it for you, build it for you from scratch. You know what I mean? So flagship store. Now, this one is not from the 60s. It's also not a brand new perfume. It's from the 90s. And a very interesting one because this one is warm, sensual. The 90s were a particular decade. I mean, if you think about it, Dior started the 90s in a very warm way. Hypnotic Poison. We are talking Vanilla Overdose. It's all about warm sensuality. The 90s. Chanel went in a different direction, you know, with Allure. They were projected more towards the 2000s. For them, for Chanel, the 90s were more about thinking about what are the 2000s going to be? What's the future going to be like? So they were projecting towards the future of perfumery. That's where Chanel releases a fragrance like Allure, which is highly, highly conceptual for its time. But 24 Faubourg is kind of like a mixture of that hyper warmth that Dior delivered and that coolness and projection towards the future that Chanel delivered. This one walks that thin line so superbly, like a classic Hermès would. Never too extreme. It doesn't push you too much here nor too much there. It keeps you feeling good in both ways. It navigates those waters so effortlessly, so elegantly, and it guides you through all those times and that decade as if it was not a problem whatsoever. That's the magic of Hermès fragrances. Now, this is the Eau de Toilette. Again, my preference is the Eau de Toilette. There is an Eau de Parfum as well. Possibly even an Extrait. I don't know if they have it currently, but maybe in the past they did. And then you have this reminiscent. The idea of this bottle is they wanted to render the idea of their famous Hermès carrés, the silk scarves that Hermès is so famous for with their hand-printed layers and textures. So they have this pattern on the bottle. And the bottle itself, you see, the glass has that shape of a scarf. That's why it's not sloppy work that the glass is not all straight. It's a little bit curved here on the inside as well. It's done on purpose to give that illusion of that scarf, of that carré flowing in the breeze. It's not a hurricane. It's not an aggressive wind. Again, this is Hermès. Everything is delicate and everything walks that fine line of balance. So that delicate breeze that moves this bottle in the wind as if it were a silk carré. It's a delicate breeze. That's why the gesture of the movement of this bottle is so subtle. You know, it doesn't disrupt our peace, but rather it's almost kind of zen. We flow with it as we see the bottle. So this one was released in the 90s, 1995 actually. And the Hermès website says, composed in 1995 by perfumer Maurice Roussel. Maurice Roussel, by the way, also composed one of the most famous fragrances from the Frédéric Malle lineup, which is Masque Ravageur. A lot of people love it. You know, it's kind of, it has its big fan following. Okay. Interesting how we see a muskiness in here as well. It's a classic signature of Maurice, but anyway, so it says 24 Faubourg draws on the Mediterranean Sea and Indian Ocean as sunny sources of inspiration. The olfactory notes: floral and amber accords. 24 Faubourg Eau de Toilette is bursting with the scent of white flowers, from radiant orange blossom and sensual jasmine to enveloping vanilla. And this is why, again, for my skin, Eau de Toilette is delicious. The Eau de Parfum, of course, is better suited for drier skin tones, I believe. For more oily skin types, Eau de Toilette is perfection, because your own oils add longevity and add a silage and projection to an Eau de Toilette. So I love my Eau de Toilette. But you can try the Eau de Parfum for you. Maybe it works better. I'll post a link to these. So this one is not like a boutique exclusive. So I'm sure I'm going to be able to find some form of like shopping link to this, or maybe even like a cute set If I find, I'll post a link like, with the perfume, maybe like a body lotion or with a little miniature or something. Let's see what I can find. The object, they say designer Serge Manceau created a sculptural bottle evoking a silk scarf flooded with sunshine and ruffled by a light breeze. Look at that. I swear to you, I did not read this text prior to telling you my interpretation of the bottle, okay? But I mean, to me, it's just so clear what it is that it was obvious to me what it was. And then there you go. Even Hermes website states the same. So this means that actually the design is so clear that we don't even need to read this text and we get it. It's self-explanatory. And when a design is self-explanatory, it's good. The Hermès detail, they say 24 Faubourg, is the legendary address of the first Hermès store located on Rue du Faubourg Saint-Honoré in Paris. A fusion of tradition and modernity, this secret world, they call it, is the place from which the house's creative passion springs forth. Olfactory emotion is warm and sensual, classic for the 90s. Main raw materials are orange blossom, jasmine, and vanilla. This one's available in different sizes and formats as well. Approximately 50 ml and 100 ml. I'm looking at it. I love it so much. I have to get a new bottle of this. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I want to wear it. You know what I mean? Again. Rolonch in the chat says, even more interesting about the hawthorn in the prior fragrance, the Cuir d'Ange. Interesting because hawthorn is used to promote cardiovascular health in Eastern medicine. Again, I grew up eating the berries and drinking hawthorn tea. So it's ultimate comfort food for me. There you go. Moving on. Okay, thumb up the video, you guys, and check out the shopping links to help out the channel. Thank you, thank you. Number 5. Now, we have gone through the past. We have seen the first perfume that Hermès created. We've gone through the different genres that they play with. Their mass release perfumes, their Cologne collection, their Hermessence collection. I really wanted to curate a beautiful list of 5 perfumes for you guys that really symbolize this house in the best way possible. And to add to that, the 5th perfume had to be really special, had to be also the future of Hermès, a perfume that symbolizes the years to come, the generations to come. And Hermès thought about the generations to come as well, because they created a perfume for the new generation. Here's my number 5. My number 5 was released just around about a year or a year and a half ago, Cabriole by Hermès. For the little ones, but also for the grown-ups. I have my bottle always with me. Here it is. It comes in this gorgeous little satchel with that drawstring in orange. Look at this beauty. It only comes in 50 ml. And it was so hard to find. When it first came out, people were going crazy for this one. I have an early batch code 0, or is this O? O or 0? 9857. It's right down here. So I never know if the first one, is this an O or a 0, you guys? Well, anyway, it's always good to have a little batch code moment. Batch code. So this is made for children 3 years and up. It is alcohol-free. And currently, $116 I see on their website. And it is available, but this one sells out so really often. Oh my God. Yeah, no, this is on another level of beauty. Oh, how I love the... okay. An ode to tenderness, says Hermès. Cabriole, Eau de Ceinture, evokes the feeling of childhood's earliest wonders and reveals the child at the heart of Hermès. A delicious scent, an invitation to fun and freedom. Created by Christine Nagel, Cabriole Eau de Ceinture combines the velvety tenderness of osmanthus and the delicate freshness of honeysuckle with the noble elegance of sandalwood in the dry down. The alcohol-free formula of Cabriole is suitable for delicate skin, children aged 3 and over. Alice Charbon's poetic and joyful illustrations bring the iconic lantern bottle and its orange box to life. Olfactory emotion, fresh, delicate. Main raw materials, osmanthus, honeysuckle, sandalwood. Y'all, cabriole means several things. It's a word game in French, but also in Italian, capriole. So cabriole is actually, what's the lady's name? Alice's designs. She drew several pictures of this little child playing with Hermes. Hermes is the name of the Hermes horse. The mascot horse of Hermes is called Hermes. You can also buy it as a plushie, often in different sizes as well. But so the little child is playing with the horse. There's different drawings of it. The kid on the floor with the horse with the kid, like different, sleeping together, cuddled up, super cute and innocent. And then there's an image of the kid doing these little cartwheels, which is what cabriole means. But also cabriole is the movement, certain movements that the horse does. But also cabriole can mean in more kind of popular folk meaning. It can mean to be capricious, like a little bit of capriccioso, you would say in Italian, the kid doing a little cheeky stuff as well, playing jokes on each other, the horse and the kid. So it's a lot of different symbolism to cabriole. And again, we have that lantern bottle with the top in black. I love the black, orange, green accord. Obviously the green here. You can see the green here. Orange and black. Just so beautiful with the pouch. It comes in an orange box with more drawings, with more of Alice's drawings on it. So this is, yes, for kids, but also for grown-ups. I love to wear it. Even though it doesn't have any alcohol, it is so long-lasting on my skin. It goes on for hours and hours and hours. Truth be told, to me, and this is why I also chose this as the 5th one in this list, the osmanthus is what gives the power and the magic to Hermes. I feel like every house has its signature note. For Chanel, it would be their jasmine from the fields of Grasse or their May rose. For Louis Vuitton, it's definitely a specific type of extract of rose that Cavalier is known for. He's the head perfumer there. It's the osmanthus for Hermes. It really is the osmanthus. For Dior, it's the tuberose. It's their signature tuberose. It's the osmanthus for Hermes. Now, also the honeysuckle, the sandalwood, these ingredients are so delicate but powerful. And they catapult you towards a future that's bright, that's full of life, that's full of hope, full of fun, full of vision, experimentation, taking care of each other, taking care of nature. Hermes also has this gorgeous series of, you can even see it on their website, called Le Petit H, which is the small H collection. You can order beautiful little whimsical pieces made out of leftovers of silk carrés, of leather scraps and pieces, of wood pieces that they have that they don't want to throw away. So they collect as many of those scraps as they can to give them new life by creating whimsical, small little editions of pieces that you can purchase on the Le Petit H portion of their website. And it kind of also projects towards caring for the planet, producing less waste and trash. And I love this concept that Hermes has in general of what Vivienne Westwood always used to say: buy less, choose well, make it last. It's very much the mentality of Hermes. I know a lot of people that have money wish to purchase a lot and they want it all now and they want to spend a ton of money so that they get access to the Birkin, to the Kelly, all that stuff. But if you really stop for a second, listen to the sales associates at Hermes and you listen to the CEOs and the bosses of Hermes, the artistic directors of Hermes, when they talk, when they give interviews, they tell you, we want people to buy less, to slow down, enjoy the process, enjoy what you have. Don't overconsume. You don't need to overconsume. You really don't. And a lot of other brands don't tell you that. They want you to keep buying more and more and more and more. I love the pace of Hermes. It's like, don't worry, you'll get what you want. It just takes time to create excellence, to create good stuff. So I can tell you, for example, when it comes to their silver, the best silver I've ever had. I have had Tiffany silver. I have had silver from a lot of other brands, even Chanel silver. Chanel stopped doing silver many years ago, but they did use the silver. Nothing beats the quality of this. And I had to wait 1 year to get the Champ d'Ancre in Très Grand Modèle with how many did I have? 12 or 13 links length. It's not like they were like acting up like, oh, you're going to have to wait. Sorry. They're like, we really don't have it. As soon as you're on the list, as soon as we have it in your length, your size, the specifications you want, we will write you. You just have to be patient. I was like, okay, good. Don't worry. I'm not going to stress you. As long as I know that if I leave you my name and address and phone and everything, like email, whatever, however you're going to contact me, if I know that you're not going to throw it away, I'm patient. And they're like, don't worry, we're not going to throw it away. And lo and behold, 1 year later, I get the email. I got a call and an email. And they're like, yeah, of course we remember. And it's here. It just took the time it took, but it's here. I'm like, perfect. I liked savoring the moment. I liked waiting for it. Because isn't that what luxury is all about? That reassurance and the comforting feeling that you will get it. They're not going to forget you. They will take care of you. You're going to pay. You're a paying customer. They will take care of you. You don't have to think about it. You've expressed your wish. You said you want it. They've noted it down. As soon as it's there, they'll let you know. That feeling that Hermes has given me throughout the years, often when I was purchasing their things or asking them, do you have this or that? And then it wasn't there, but then it became available after that. They never failed me, not one single time. That's luxury to me. You don't need to rush. There's no need to rush. It's kind of vulgar to go in there and throw a hissy fit. I want it now. I have the money. I want it now. Yeah, you can keep your money. This is not about the money. This is about savoring the moment, enjoying the journey. There you go. Because at the end of the day, everything I've ever wanted from them to purchase, I managed to. It's all about learning to let go. Very Buddhist, actually, in a way, right? Just let that water flow. It's like one of these exercises that I used to do in the past of sitting on a bridge that's crossing a river. And I would sit, well, it depends how much time you have, but best would be at least an hour. You sit 1 hour on the side of the bridge, looking into the river as it's running towards you. And you're thinking about everything that your life is throwing at you. It's all coming to you, but also the good energy, not just the bad stuff. Filling yourself up, accepting the fact that life throws everything at you. And then after that hour is done, you are full. You turn around and you sit on the other side of the bridge and you start looking at the water flowing away from you. And all of that accumulation that you had inside of you for that hour prior, now you're going to let it all go. Now you're going to envision it all leaving you. You are throwing it all into that water, into that clean water, and it's going away. And after that 1 hour, you are empty. But it's a good empty, not a depressed empty. You are recharged and ready to go for new adventures new journeys, to experience new things, to meet new people, to try and discover new perfumes. Man, I love these. They're so amazing. I hope you've enjoyed this video, you guys. If you have, thumb it up, subscribe, and let me know your favorite Hermes perfumes down below. If I manage to get a shopping link for this one, I'll also put it in my shopping list here. And until next time, never forget to never give up on fragrant love. Love you loads. Bye.